When lambs have reached their finishing weight, they are transported to the processing facility where live lambs are harvested and further processed into table-ready products for American consumers. As with other commodity groups, the American sheep industry believes that livestock should be treated humanely from birth to death. It is our responsibility to ensure the animals are humanely transported and humanely harvested during this process. It only takes a few seconds to stun and harvest a lamb at a processing facility.
Okay, we've spent all spring of 2012 putting together a sheep handling video. It was sponsored by American Sheep Industry Association, Livestock Marketing in Colorado State. Dr. Temple Grandin has been a centerpiece of that particular piece of information, talking about safe and efficient handling of sheep in processing facilities, sale barns, areas where there's high volumes of sheep, transportation. This will be multilingual, and it's an attempt to educate all the sheep producers across the United States about safe handling techniques and proper ways to handle sheep.
Processing procedures are designed to ensure the carcass is free from contaminants while being processed into consumer-ready meat cuts. All meat processing facilities are monitored by a USDA inspector. The USDA inspector is present anytime the facility is processing animals. There are handling protocols in place for live animals as soon as they are unloaded at the facilities, as well as numerous protocols to follow when processing the carcass to ensure a safe and healthy product to American consumers.
The HACCP program is a food safety program that was mandated by USDA in the mid-1990s after several incidents of ground beef and some poisonings and food safety concerns, and like I said, back in the 1990s. It really had its roots in the space program. It started out in the 1960s. Obviously, a sick astronaut's not a desirable thing, and so the food safety program was incrementally put together as a barrier for contamination. Hazard Analysis Critical Control Program, or HACCP, as the acronym applies, entails, first of all, identifying the hazards, and secondly, putting in control measures to take care of those. Each plant, such as the lamb processing plants in Colorado, have their own plans, HACCP plans put together. Those are closely scrutinized by USDA, and they work as a cooperative effort to ensure food safety. Carcass evaluation in most USDA plants, in fact all USDA plants, is mandates two measures. One is the quality of the carcass is determined by USDA inspection, and the other is the yield. And so each lamb carcass, if you calculate yield grade or measure yield grade, then you must quality grade that product also. Quality grade reflects back to the eating qualities and subsequent pleasure and value derived to the customer. The yield grade relates back and implies the amount of lean cuttable portions of the lamb carcass that come off. So we like to look at quality grade in lamb. Lamb quality grades very easily. 90+% of the lambs in the United States grade choice. That's certainly way higher than beef and certainly way higher than pork. So we have a highly desirable product grading choice, which implies it'll have a high degree of consumer acceptance.
I'm Jeff Altman. I'm the procurement manager at JBS Lamb, and we harvest about 500,000 lambs a year at this plant. Just if we go through the process from start to finish, a truck will show up here. Usually USDA inspection will be around somewhere to watch us unload and handle the lambs. There's no whooping and hollering. We don't use any hot shots or anything like that. We use lead sheep to unload the trucks. Lambs come off. You know, the goal is to get them to walk off just nice and easy, pretty calm like, and then we yard them into a pen. Government inspection will come around again and sign a drive card so that we can go ahead and process those lambs that came in. From there, we'll move them up the chute into the facility, and at that point in time, we use lead sheep up there as well to move them, you know, through the pens and around and up into the plant. Again, there's USDA inspection that looks at food from a food safety standpoint and a zero tolerance standpoint as far as contamination of any kind on that carcass. We have our own quality assurance people that will go through and look for anything that needs to be trimmed off, any speck or hair or anything like that that isn't sanitary, we go ahead and take that off, trim it off so that it doesn't come in contact with any edible product. And then it goes through several critical control points, which is part of our HACCP plan, to where it's just, those points are just checkpoints to make sure that we've done our thing to make sure that that carcass is sanitary and ready for an edible product. Our quality assurance people will take bacterial swabs of the carcass in several different spots, and basically they're checking for E. coli 0157H7, and typically in lambs we don't have that problem because there's a lower 0157 count in sheep than there is in any other species. So really E. coli is not an issue on the lamb side. However, we still test for it just to make sure that something didn't go awry in the process. Dr. Grandin's been through this plant several times. She was here when it was built, and she's walked through the entire process to make sure that it meets basically her standard of humane handling, and USDA decided that if it meets her standard, then it meets their standard also. So, you know, Dr. Grandin enjoys coming to this plant. She's told us that. She's been here several times. She'll bring people in to look at this plant, and you know, this is how we need to be doing things. So from our standpoint, we assume that we've got a pretty good operation as far as the humane handling program here, and we've never had any issues with USDA on the humane handling side. So everything must be doing pretty good.